Jennifer something else.
Mm-hmm.
And Pac, man, I'm going down memory lane now. So you and Pac were cool like well before the Poetic Justice movie, right?
No, I met Pac on Poetic Justice.
Oh,
So I met him on Poetic Justice, and when I say a nice kid, he was a nice kid. Now y'all could dress it up. He even dressed it up as being gangster this and gangster that. Nicest kid, best sense of humor. He loved the comedy, so he would come to Venice and see my shows. When I was doing Venice Beach, him, Snoop Dogg, Rick James would come all the time. Then he brought Eddie Murphy, which meant everything to me.
this
So-
is when you're on the street
when
performing?
I was doing street performance on Venice Beach from 86 to 95, I did 5 one-hour shows every Saturday and Sunday on Venice Beach. And my crowds would be anywhere from 300 to 700 people per crowd. I would do 5 shows. I would do 40 minutes of comedy, and 20 minutes of getting my money. In fact, I taught everybody on Venice when I came out there how to get money because they weren't getting money. They had one guy, his name was Robert Gruenberg. He would juggle a chainsaw, a raw apple, an apple and a raw egg. The egg was not cooked. So he would juggle the apple, the egg, and the chainsaw, and he bite the apple and eat it. Bite the apple and eat it, throwing the egg and the chainsaw without cutting himself or breaking the egg. He wasn't making no real money.
Yeah, but was the chainsaw on?
Oh, yeah. The chainsaw was on.
It was on?
running. Oh, yeah. He run it, he cut something with it, and then he take it and he juggle it, and then he juggle the apple and the egg. It was the most amazing thing. He ended up getting in trouble with the IRS because they guesstimated on his ass. They came out and watched him collect his money, and they guesstimated how much he made.
Oh, so they were.
And he hadn't filed.
Yeah, he pissed somebody off.
And he had bought a car dealership and everything. He had to go to court. I think he spent
He
like
bought
40
a car
grand.
dealership?
Yeah, I think he spent like 40 grand to keep from going to jail. Some like that. Robert Gruenberg. Y'all can look him up. Robert Gruenberg, nicest fella. But the other guy out there, walking on glass. They call him Uber. And he would stand on a pile of glass. He would break fresh bottles. He would come out, he'd step in the glass, he'd jump off a chair into the glass barefoot. Then he would lay on the broken glass with no shirt on. A man would sit on his thighs. A woman would stand on his chest, and he'd smoke a cigarette. Then he'd get up without a scratch on him. He was making $40 a day when I got out there. I said, no, I had to show them how to make their money. Too many of them didn't understand that you got to get your money before you end the show. You can't end the show and then ask for money.
Right.
Who the fuck's gonna stick around and pay? We got what we wanted, So, I was telling you, you always have to have a hook. So you build your show up first. First you get your crowd. Then you do your work. And then you tell them that you got something wonderful you're gonna end with. But first, I got to get my money. Y'all know I'm not a non-for-profit organization. So, and my system was the best. I would kill them. I would go in a circle, and I had a money grabber, and I would have them hold the money up. I would say, up, and they would put the money in the air and yell, yo, and I would snatch the money. If they got a 5, people would applaud. If they got a 10, they would cheer. If they got a 20, people would go crazy. And I would go segment by segment, and segments would compete with each other to see who gave me the most money.
Now, were you in the same spot every single time?
Mm-hmm. I stayed in the same spot.
What,
so people know how to find me.
Did you ever show up?
Huh?
Did you ever show up at any point and somebody else had your spot and you was like, no, man?
Absolutely. Well, actually, a guy came to try to take my spot. So, okay. So how we got to Venice Beach, I didn't know we was going to go this long. How we went to Venice Beach is I started performance in Chicago. So I had gone off to the military, and I was doing plays and stuff while I was in the military. I was helping put together shows that dealt with entertainment, as well as military police. Then when I came back, I wanted to get back into acting. I had never gotten into comedy yet. So I came back to be an actor. So I was getting my acting chops on, and my friends kept saying, Michael, you should try comedy. So I finally tried comedy because of Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy in '84 was everything, and he still is, was everything. He was all of 23, maybe 24, but he had already done Beverly Hills Cops, Trading Places, and the first, and 48 Hours, Trading Places, and Beverly Hills Cops. He had done all 3 of them by '84. And so he's 23. Plus, he had just joined Saturday Night Live and saved that show. They was going to close Saturday Night Live until they got him. He was so great that the show went back up, and they haven't left the air since. And he could wear the out of a red leather suit. And he did all that from telling jokes. Well, by now, I was pretty funny. And I was like, I didn't know people could make money like that telling jokes. I need to get out the mustard and catch up. So I went and got some Red Fox albums, and I stood in my mama's basement in the mirror. I was living down there anyway, and I stood in that mirror and I played those jokes over and over and said them until I could say them like I wrote them myself. And that's how I started doing comedy.